Hello, YouTube. Just a very fast video because I really don't have much to say. I don't really want to talk about this topic. I've talked about the larger topic before, including recently. And like I said, I don't really care. I just thought it kind of crossed another line in terms of hatred of males and the male body that I had not seen before, honestly. And I have seen lots of stuff that's very negative about men and very brutal stuff. For some reason, this offended me a little bit more than anything else, and I'm not really even sure why. And it's not even about that. But I was discussing the topic of circumcision of infants and children, and I was discussing this with someone else, and somehow the topic of the scene from Glow, the TV show, came where they literally pretty much mutilate or circumcise a teenage boy. And in fairness, the actor was probably in his 20s, but it was being suggested this was a teenage boy from the Soviet Union. And instead of trying to improve his life, the first thing they decided to do is let's force him to have his genitals mutilated while everyone, including a main character in the show, stands idly by and watches. And this offended me, and it still offends me now. And I don't understand why that was allowed. And I don't like talking about this because this was not supposed to be the last thing I wanted to leave off today talking about. In fact, I made a very good video earlier about a variety of topics, including real circumcision of children, mainly infants, obviously. But I talked about that, and I talked about a number of other issues, including LGBTQ rights and all kinds of stuff. And I would have really rather have liked for that to be the last video I made today, assuming the thing worked. Who the hell knows? But I want to talk about people that only leave positive comments because these people, I guess, are fans of the show, and they weren't too happy with a comment I left that was critical of the show. And in all honesty, maybe I was overly critical. Maybe I wasn't as respectful as I should have been. I don't know. I don't know. I'm antisocial. I'm not good with people. I'm not a people person. I admit that. I like children. I'm not good with them. I would never put me in charge of taking care of a kid. I'm pretty good with animals, particularly dogs, and even my dog gets pissed off at me a lot. So, I'm not a people person. But the point is, what I will say is that I left a comment critical of their video and critical of their review. And this is a 3-year-old video they posted, or at least 2-year-old video that they had posted. With about 2 other comments. And again, I'm not giving even the name of the thing. I don't even remember, and I don't give a shit. But they've got about 300 and something comments or viewers altogether. They're not a big channel or a big video review list, so who gives a shit? But but they didn't allow that. They deleted that, and they not only deleted what I thought was a respectful comment, and maybe I'm wrong, but they blocked me. Now that's fine. I suppose that's their motive or their modus operandi to do that if they want. But I will also say I don't respect that as a philosopher. And I also have to say that kind of pisses me off as a philosopher. Because I think I had something important to say about that. And I think males, just the same as females, should be able to say when we are offended by something or we think something goes too far. And I thought that fucking scene went too far for a variety of reasons. And it really is not even about whether or not you support or are against circumcision or genital mutilation. It's not even about that. It just went too far. And again, reverse the genders. Imagine a family is flying in from somewhere in the Middle East or Africa, and they want to do a hugectomy on a girl. Do you think that would ever make and they force her, do you think that would ever make television? It would have to be built up all season long, and there would be and again, pop-ups. It would have to be built up all season long. And does the phrase 1,000 violin solos ring a bell? That's what it would be. And there would be no humorous slant on that really whatsoever at all, as there was with this. So I don't understand that. I don't understand why this is allowed on Netflix. And Netflix have shown other bullshit that to me is bizarre because there's far less offensive stuff that people pretend to be offended by. And I don't even buy that they are. But that shit's supposed to fly. But I'm going to read to you the comment. And as a philosopher, I don't like this because I get insulted, harassed, threatened, judged daily for my content and for what I say on the line and in other places. People insult me all the time, and I can't write, and I'm stupid, and I'm mentally ill, and mentally challenged, and I'm this, and I'm that, and blah, blah, blah. And I let them say that, and I let them say whatever they want because I believe in their free speech rights and freedom of speech. And while I don't agree what they have to say, I would die for the right to say that. But you know what? I would also die for my right to say what I have to say. And if I have to walk through hellfire to get my fucking opinion out there, I will. But here's what I said earlier. I said in America, this is something we often do to babies, and I'm doing this just to make sure it takes. And I am circumcised, and I don't understand why, pretty much. And honestly, I don't like being and don't understand why. And then I went on to speed this up. But pretty much I said that the fact that they did this on a TV show, to me, stepped across the line that I had not seen before, and I was offended by this. And again, the fact that that was allowed when any reversal of the gender roles would not be, to me, is very hypocritical and should be seen as that. And I don't. What else did I post? And while I understand that our society has a negative opinion of males and a view of male gender, and the differences that make, by the way, two different but similar genders that are very similar in formation in the room. We're pretty much all the same. We're all hermaphroditic, but males become males, females become females. But we're very similar, but we have to become two different genders. And then from that, you get the condition capable of reproducing life on Earth. But males get a lot of crap for being male, pretty much. And even though I understand that and hatred and so forth in fewer words, but I went on to say that this still crossed the line and it came across to me as rape. I suppose they were offended by this, so they didn't allow the comment. But again, they're still pussies, and all I did was leave more comments on several other videos reviewing that season and why I stopped watching the show after that, because that offended me greatly. And there, I'm sure, was ways of doing that would have been funny and or whatever, but that is not how you do that. And that was, to me, just over the line in a way that I had never seen. And I had seen lots of humor involving that subject, but to me, this was just over another line. And it was, again, largely based around two larger males dragging a teenage boy into a room and mutilating his genitals. And even one of the characters is a female. She's one of the main characters on the show. She's pretty much just standing around talking with them and acting like she doesn't care either. And then at the end, she sings a song. In fairness, the boy asked her to, but it's very out of line with the rest of the scene. And you almost feel like she should be singing something a little bit darker, not the kind of crap more upbeat tune she was singing. And to me, that came across as very offensive. And she even says something I saw later on as being strikingly smart ass, but I didn't realize it at the time, that you had a rough day or a tough day or something to that effect. No shit, Sherlock, or no sure shitlock. I didn't know that. But the entire thing was just very offensive. And I don't understand why that's allowed to be put on TV or on Netflix in this case, but you couldn't put the reverse of that. Or you couldn't put a number of other things that females consider offensive. Again, they got rid of a bikini contest from a beauty pageant. This America is a fucking beauty pageant. And they got rid of the fucking bikini contest from a beauty pageant because that might offend some female for some reason. But this shit's supposed to fly. That's supposed to be okay. And I, as a male, am not supposed to have the right to say, you know what? I'm offended by this. I don't like this. Fuck this. This is immoral. I find this immoral, disgusting, fucked up, stupid. And that's my opinion. And I just think if you want to delete every comment that doesn't agree with you, you can do that. But I'm just going to post my shit elsewhere. I'll make an entire video if I have to. And I'm going to get my opinion out there for the first time in my life. If I have to walk through hellfire itself, I'm going to get my fucking view of the world out there. And people can judge for themselves if they agree or not. But I want my damn fucking opinion out there. I'm going to get my damn fucking opinion out there. And I also happen to think you're a giant pussy if you can't take someone being critical of a television show. And that's what you're saying. You got offended because I was critical of your stupid show. So much so you couldn't let one fucking comment on a 3-year-old video take. And this video is pointless and way too long already. But that just pissed me off. And, the entire thing pisses me off. 3666.